This is a word problem. A lot of people look at the word problem and then skip it to move to the next one. Please don't do that. Some of these word problems looks intimidating, but it's not really that hard. The word problem that you see in the take-home test number 1 is very similar to the one that you're going to see in the first exam. The word problem that you see right now would be very similar to the one that you see in the final exam. Look at the solutions and make sure you know how to set this up. So let me show you one way to set this up. Here, can somebody read this question for me while I set them up? Somebody read the question, please.
Walt made an extra $10,000 last year from a part-time job. He invested part of the money at 10% and the rest at 9%. He made a total of $970 in interest. How much did he invest at each rate?
Okay, very good. So over here, let's assume this box, the first box here, represent the account that they give us 10%. And let's say this second box represents the bank that they give me, or the account that they give me 9%. Okay. Now, do I know how much money I'm investing in 10% account?
$970.
No.
Or $10,000.
Okay. I know I have $10,000 to invest total, but do I know how much money I'm investing in 10% account? That's the question.
No.
No, we don't know. So if I don't know, what do I do? Anybody?
X.
Yeah, I like to call it N instead of X, so it doesn't get confused by multiplication. So I'm going to assume I am investing N dollars, any variables I can use, N dollars into 10% account. So if I invest N dollars into 10% account, how much money do I have left to invest in 9% account? Anyone?
Minus 10,000.
Minus is not the answer.
Oh no.
I want to know how much, those of you with the mic, you can just grab a mic and tell me. I know some of you are already texting and are correct actually with your answer. But anybody with the mic can tell me how much money do I have left to invest in the other account?
10,000 minus 10N.
10,000 minus 10N. Well, you're getting closer.
1.
1 is not the correct answer.
Okay.
Anyone else? I only have $10,000 to invest here. As part of that money goes to N, to 10% account, which I'll call it N. So the rest must go to the other account, right? How do you write that mathematically?
$10,000 last year.
Say that a little louder. $10,000 what?
I was just saying he made an extra $10,000 last year from part-time job. He invested part of the money at 10%. 10%. Won't you take 10% of $10,000?
No, forget about the 10% now. I just want to know how much money I have to invest into the second account. Okay, let's make it simple. Let's say somehow somebody would tell me, look, this N is 1,000. Okay, somebody come and tell me you have to put $1,000 in 10% account. What would be in the other account then? How much money I would have to invest in the other account? The total money I have is 10,000. If I put 1,000 here, how much money do I have left to? 9,000. How did you find the 9,000? I want you to mathematically tell me.
Okay, because whatever was left from your 10%, so if you put 10%, which comes out to be $9,000, well, that's $9,000 that's left out of the 10%, right?
So what is mathematically can be written here, amount that you spend in 9% account? You haven't told me that yet.
Well, I took the
I took the $10,000. I took the 10,000 and I multiplied it times 10%, and then it was going to show me $9,000 that was left. And then I took the $9,000, and that would be how much I had left.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Let's give the mic to someone else if somebody else wants to give me an idea. I want to know mathematically.
You take the $10,000 less N. You had 10,000 to start.
I want you to mathematically, what's the expression I should use here? 10,000 less
10,000 minus N.
Very good. Yeah, here you go. You got it. $10,000. That's the total money I have. Minus N would be how much money I would have to put into other accounts. That's how you write it mathematically. So if I assume that I have N dollars investing in 10%, the rest of the money would be 10,000 minus N. That's what I was looking at to somebody tell me. The rest would be 10,000 minus N.
I have a question.
Sense? Yes, please.
It does, but I do have a question. We don't need to multiply N times the 10% of whatever that's going to be?
Melissa, we're going to do that in a moment. The question only was how to set this up. We're going to do that right now. So right now, we're going to write that 10% times N, because that's how much money we're going to earn from this account, plus 9% times the amount of money that we have to invest in this account would be 10,000 minus N, would be equal to, how much would that be equal to, anyone?
970.
900, very good, 970. So this is how you set up this equation. Now I'm taking my time to make sure everybody understands this, because you're going to see this problem in the final exam. You're going to see a similar problem like this for the next test. So if you understand this concept, how to start with the right assumption and how to write the equation, the rest is piece of cake. The rest is pretty simple. So 10% times N plus 9% times whatever money we have left to invest in the second account is equal to 970. Everybody okay with how to set this up so far? The rest is pretty simple. You just have to solve for that. So 10%.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay. So in the parentheses, when we're subtracting 10,000 minus N, N would be the amount that we're multiplying times the 10%. So do we not also need that 10% to be in the parentheses with the N, or no?
Okay. This is just the amount. This is just the amount of money that invests in 9% account. This is just the amount of money that we invest in 10% account. Okay. So whatever amount that I invest in 10% account times 10% plus whatever amount of money I invest in the other account times 9% should add up to 970. That's how we have so far.
Because we're dealing with percentages over, say, pounds and things that we've been doing in other exercises?
Right. So what we need to do next is to convert 10% into its decimal form, which is 10% means 0.1, right? 10 divided by 100 is 0.1, and then this would be 9% would be what? 9 divided by 100 would be 0.09. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So in order to eliminate the decimal, we looked at this earlier, we can multiply each term by a factor of 10, so I don't have any decimal then. So what do I have to multiply each term with, anyone? To eliminate all the decimal, I have to multiply each term by what?
10.
Not 10. 100.
100.
Because the second term has 2 digits after decimal point, right? Okay. So if you multiply the first term by 100, you get 10n. If I multiply the second term by 100, you get 9 times 10,000 minus n. And don't forget to multiply the last. You have to multiply 970 by 100 too. If you forget that, you get the wrong answer. So you have to multiply this term by 100 too. So we multiply each number by 100. Are there any questions up to this point, anyone?
Yes, I do. Why didn't, when you set up this problem up here on this side right here, I don't know how to use the thing. When you set up the 10% in plus 9%, weren't you supposed, I'm just asking, weren't you supposed to add the 10% and the 9% and get, like, for instance, 19% in?
No, they are separate accounts. This account only give you 10% for this much money you put in. This account give you 9% for this much money you put in. So they're not 19%. Each of these are separate accounts.
Oh, okay.
It adds up to 970 after you're done with investing, but each account would be separately calculated. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's continue with the rest of this. So we have 10n. If I distribute this, they give me 90,000. Once again, please click on the microphone if you are done talking. There were some people in forum wanted to talk, and they said they cannot talk. The reason you cannot talk is because somebody else is talking. The microphone can be only used one at a time, the way I set them up. So maybe that's why some of you cannot talk. If you cannot talk, if you have a problem with the microphone, like I asked you before, you need to set that up. Come a little early next time to set up your microphone and speaker. Click on Tools, Audio Setup Wizard, and you set up your microphone and headphone. I'm saying this because somebody in the chat room was asking me about that. So let's move on to the rest of the problems. So you have 10n minus 9n over here. You have 10n minus 9, and that would be equal to n. And then if I go ahead and subtract 90,000 from both sides of the equation, so what is n is equal to, anybody? N would be equal to what?
7,000.
7,000, very good. Somebody put 700. It's 7,000. Okay? 7,000. And don't forget, you put a dollar sign, you should have a unit for all your final answer. So you have to invest $7,000 into 10% account, but they're asking you how much you're going to invest in how much did you invest in each account, actually. So how much are you going to spend in 9% account then? So it would be 10,000, the rest of the money, right? That would be 10,000 minus 7,000, which is what?
3,000.
Very good. So which one, which would be the right choice for me then? A, B, C, or D?
C.
D, right? $3,000 at 9%.
It'll be C.
D, right?
C.
Okay, the correct choice here would be C, somebody says. C. $3,000 at 9% account and $7,000 in the 10% account. Very good. Somebody wrote C here. Thank you. So, question on this, anyone? Okay, let's take a look at the next problem here.